Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The topic is really closer to my heart because, as just what she mentioned, we actually go after the brands that we know of. We trust them, and which is why we buy from them. What if the name supersedes it? Will you still buy? We have seen a lot of ads. I mean, the latest one is Dimac, where our famous actors Alia Bhatt and Ranveer Singh is actually promoting the new properties. People are aligning with their name or Dimac. What do you think? Is the actors or the name of the real estate giants? I guess so. I mean, there's a mixed opinion for each one of us. So the topic is your name is your empire, turning your reputation into a legacy. So to build upon that, I have a very diverse guest that's gonna come up on stage. So I'll first of all call upon Vaijanti, founder and executive director, CSSL Global Private Limited. Please give us a round of applause to her. Now I'll call upon Dr. Nicola Middleton. She's founder and president of God Brands Private Limited. Can I have some clappings going on, please? Thank you. Then I have Dwayne Nathan Jack. Dwayne, there he comes. Mohammad Rabi Itani, partner and general manager, Keller Williams Prime. Yep. Ahmed Amar. And if we have Jishan Sabri here. Uh, to start with, we'll just take a quick 10-second intro from each one of you so people should know much clearer. Vajanti, we'll start with you.
Okay, thanks. I'm Vajanti Shankar, as introduced. I'm the executive director and the founder of Center for Science of Student Learning. We work in the area of measurements, large scale, psychometrically validated diagnostic assessments. This could be in areas of either learning achievement, academic learning outcomes, or social skills, or emotional skills, or leadership skills. A whole range of stuff gets checked by us and feedback given to student or teachers, now to corporates, and also people who are in career readiness stage and so on. Clients across 16 countries, about 12 million students and 130,000 adults, and 30 plus partners have people we have reached so far. And incidentally, tomorrow day we are completing 10th year.
Congratulations. Dwayne.
I'm Dwayne Nathan Jack. I'm an educator in human potential, providing services within the UK institutions, Her Majesty Prison Service and Ministry of Justice. We educate people on soft skills through emotional intelligence within the institutions within the UK.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammad Itani. I'm the General Manager of Keller Williams Prime in Saudi Arabia. So I've been in this industry for 22 years, selling and marketing and deriving strategies for real estate projects. So mainly I have two main services, which is the consultancy part and the sales and marketing part of, at this moment, I'm focusing on luxury developments and projects.
Nicola.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nicola. I'm founder and president of a company called God Brands, and we do actually exactly what Ankesh is talking about. We're very much about building brands as messages to humanity. Must I speak louder? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Maybe we could have some more volume on the mic. I don't know if the audio people can do something. Is it okay? All right. So what I was saying, we build brands as messages to humanity because we understand the power of the brand and that people will choose products connected to the brand because they have brand loyalty or there's something about the brand that they want in their life. So that's my business. And with it, we work to take humanity higher, and we speak about Humanity 2.0. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola.
Hello, I'm Ahmed Ammar. I'm the executive VP of a company called Labs. Actually, I've been working, I'm always facing a challenge from my own kids. What do you work in? What's your industry? We don't understand anything that you're working in everything literally on the whole planet. I work in coffee, in sports, in technology, in too many stuff. I love to be doing and living what I'm doing to be operating in it in an excellence manner. And what I discovered lately is that I'm fueled by making things better in general and fusing the technologies that's available right now and that can be available on a later phase to be utilized and be helping and serving the industries. So right now, the main venture is the Labs, which is implementing SAP solutions, which is helping the whole companies for operating on a much better basis. In addition to a sports academy for developing of youth to be athletics on a pro level.
Thank you, Emma. So, ladies and gentlemen, the fact is, this is a very diverse group of people, and we are trying to understand and how to, and in fact, decoding how the name actually works before the brand and how we can build on a legacy. So, before this, I'll tell you a quick story. I was just talking to Vejanti a while ago, and I said, I used to work for an organization very early at my stage when I was started doing my sales. The first worry I had is whether I'd be able to sell to people or not. I thought it would be an easy game because now I know my operation gimmicks. I know 7 years of my life has been into understanding the products and services. So how far it could be for me challenging whether I can actually sell or not. But the moment I entered into the word, I realized that it's not a easy cup of tea. People believe in you only then they buy from you. So if you're in a new word, what would the repercussions could be, and how can you challenge yourself to be the name of your own self rather than backing up by a multinational brand? So I'll start with the first question, and that's a universal backup question that I'm going to give you. What has been the most defining moment, and you can probably answer each one of you in your turn, is that moment when you sharing your reputation on with people as who you are today. So probably Vajanti.
Yeah, so continuing the conversation we just had outside, I have been in the sector for the 30 plus years, doing educational learning assessments and so on. So I actually was part of another company as a founding member, built it for about 13 plus years, went to US on a Fulbright Humphrey, came back, wanted to start something to solve on my own way. And so I walk to this funder. It's a trust. It's a well-known trust. I'm not naming it, but I walked into the room. It's very difficult even to get to meet the person, but I just walked into the room and I said, "Hey, I want to start this." I've never met that person before. Okay, by the way, I want to start this and to run this for 3 years. This is what it would cost me. I'm looking for a philanthropic grant. In 6 minutes, I got the grant and I came out. Okay, and that is what reputation does to you. So people knew me in the sector for the type of work that I was doing. They knew what I was building. They believed in the integrity. And when I wanted to start over on my own, that preceded. And, definitely I think your name is always your legacy as long as you take care to build it.
Vajanti, that's a very fine line in creating your own reputation. But Nathan, I was talking to you as well. The era is about social media, and building a reputation on social media has its own pros and cons. What's your opinion
My opinion on social media.
on building a reputation on social media?
I think it starts within oneself before you expand externally to whatever platform it may be. online platforms. I think it starts at home, within the heart. And when you start from within, then everything else will flow for you. It's already written in the stars. So I think when you focus on the basis of the heart, of that authenticity, I feel the brand produces itself, because it's what's behind the brand that produces the attraction, because it's passion over perfection. So I believe when it comes to global impact, social impact, whatever it may be, I believe it starts from within inside someone's self, and then it will expand out depending on how high that frequency is. Will attract, whether it's online or in person. You will be recognized because of the attraction.
Ravi, I'll probably take from the same question that Nathan just answered. Passion over professionalism. Real estate is a very dicey industry.
Yeah, especially because real estate you buy from the person that you trust and not from the company. So it's very important that you as a sales agents have this close connection with your client, and usually this client will follow you. So he will trust you and he will buy from you and you will resell for him. So definitely you should have a certain level of integrity and you should work with it along the way. So it's an everyday job. It's not something that you can stop at doing it. And understanding the client and understanding, because the client will become your friend, especially that in real estate it's high tickets, it's a high priced items. And you need to understand what do they want and what's their objective. And this is where you start building your credibility amongst the clients. This is the most important thing when it comes to building personal relationships. And it's all about how you network with them till they become, as I said, your friends.
Doctor, we were talking about integrity and passion and authenticity when we were doing a recap of this conference. There's one question that you spoke about, integrity as the core personal identity. Can you throw some light on it?
So integrity as core
Personal identity.
or personal identity. Yes, so if I focus on the word integrity, I just want to pick up from what Dwayne said in his answer about it starts within and even taking it into the home. You know, we really do have to look at ourselves and connect to ourselves and connect inward. And we are talking here about your name, empire, reputation, and legacy, but it comes also to your identity. Who are you? And then the word integrity. I mean, I'm not going to give a dictionary definition, but it is a really important word to me in terms of being whole, you know, entire, and in any which way you show up, wherever you go, you are that same person. You don't show one side to, you know, one part of the world, another side somewhere else, and, you know, even the opposite. So it comes to your values, it comes to who you are. I like to also talk about if you slice an onion, all those layers in an onion, they're all the onion, and they should all be clean and not rotten inside or anything like that. And that's also for me a good image, a sort of picture of integrity. And when it comes to your name and your reputation and making those into an empire and a legacy, it's us that have to carry that. We have to actually embody that and live that. And the world does see that, and the world responds to that. It might take time, but, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
We are dealing with weighty things here, you know, substance.
Yeah. And I'll move to Ahmed. Ahmed, you come from a tech background completely. How do you see the name getting built up as a legacy in the tech environment? Because there are multiple players, there's so many things which are happening, and it's again a very dynamic industry altogether.
So it's the same thing happened when tech industry started entering the normal industries. They tried to pick up a persona. One is playful, one is super serious, one is super complicated, one is covering everything. I see right now this is, I won't say it's failing, but it's the whole concept of the persona in tech, it doesn't make any sense. You need to be everything in tech. You need to be playful at some times, in some applications, in some business areas. You need to be super progressive when it's come to youth, when it's coming to looking in a progressive manner. You need to be super conservative and super secured when you're coming to the data and the technical stacks. So you need to be all the personas in one thing, which is that's the complicated thing about tech company. Tech company needs to be everything. It needs to be super serious, super playful, super progressive, super everything to be a successful company. So having a specific thing in tech is, or having a personality. The core thing is that, as again I'm mentioning Dwayne, part is the authenticity. If the company is authentic about serving, about doing a stack, helping something, I'm helping the companies help their customers better. So I'm doing a CRM that's helping the people. Right now, people are working on WhatsApp. I'm going on WhatsApp all the way. I'm not just limiting them because I'm not able to do it as a tech company. I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to find a way to be reaching this out. When companies try to limit that, or okay, that's our stack, you need to be messaging on our stack, they always fail. This always fails because people are the driver of technology. Technology is not the driver for the people. So I see that the authenticity is the key thing that helps. The authenticity of a company through its people and through its diverse background helps this company to be a successful one in the tech industry.
Doc, quick question. I mean, that's a very good point. Be authentic is what we have always been talking about. You've blended purpose with leadership, Nicole. The fact is, a leader at a certain level needs to be very wary of, what he's speaking in the word, because that's where the legacy start building upon it. So the question is, how does a leader ensure that their name becomes a message that outlines their own business or the overall business?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
The question is, how does a leader, when we sit on a very top level, we really need to be wary of what we are saying, how much we are saying, and what message is actually going out. So how did the name becomes the message when it outlives the entire business? It's you who is being seen as Nicola.
Yeah.
Then we spoke about this as well.
Yeah, so we also spoke about, your name, and I particularly, in preparing for this, was considering, is it the name of the individual or is it the name of the organization? I'm building a organization with brands. At the moment, there are 8. They're not all built out, but they all are qualifying for your name because it's the brand. I myself am a brand, Dr. Nicola. And it's in terms of talking about outliving, well, if you're building a successful company and you're building a company, I'm building a company with many names, all of which I hope will live way beyond my lifetime because they are here to serve humanity. It's like Coca-Cola, and I'm not sure when Coca-Cola was founded, but like the founders, the individuals, and Coca-Cola today, it moves on. There's succession planning. You pass through this earth and the brands, the name, the legacy, the empire can live on. I mean, I think we should think like that beyond our lifetimes. So even though I'm building my name, if we talk about Dr. Nicola, I wanted to outlive my lifetime. I mean, Shakespeare is still around. He's not been on earth for 500 years. So how do we ensure that happens? Well, it doesn't have to happen. It's not a requirement. It's not a requirement for business. It's not a requirement in life. You don't have to climb Mount Everest. I don't have to make names, brands that outlive me. But and here is the secret, if that is the destiny of those brands, including the brand that is Dr. Nicola, then I believe it will happen. I think it's written in the stars. Thank you, Dwayne. I think you used that phrase. So I think you have to be true to the path. You have to follow purpose. You have to use your integrity. And it is sowing, and you will reap from what you sow.
So following a purpose, be authentic, show your integrity, and that comes to Dwayne. We spoke about the transformation, and you have been, deeply rooted in the transformation side of it. How does adversity shape the meaning for your name?
I think it's not just my name, but I feel as adversity is the fertilizer for growth. That uncomfortableness enables one to wake up from a coma. They may be in unconsciously, and it gives one the ability to reflect, to be able to reject back into their community, society, with the learning through the pain, suffering, whatever that may be. So for myself personally, it's only through my adversities, trials and tribulations that I was able to discover who I truly was, to enable me to be who I am today. Without the trials and tribulations, would Dwayne Nathan Jack be sitting on this stage? No, he wouldn't. So I embrace every experience that may be uncomfortable, because it's the uncomfortableness that enables us to build these psychological, spiritual muscles, to be the version that we are, to lighten up future generations.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think that's the most of the time people actually believe being uncomfortable doesn't solve a purpose, because you really need to be confident. That pressure of being confident always fall apart. So, Vajanti, you've been into this whole measurement and you've been talking to a lot of students, you've been on the inside side. How do you see this growth within someone who really kind of building their own brand as their own name?
Yeah, I will share from my research studies actually, because we do this large scale studies, pan India, multiple countries, and so on, and different age groups. I'll talk about two studies and then we can come to the findings. So, one of the studies was what we call as the cognitive and affective skills study. And this was conceived 10 years back, pan India, multiple states, private schools, top private schools, affluent schools, as well as the government schools. All age groups from grades 3 to all the way to grades 10. And we looked at, our hypothesis at that time was that we said that if you want to really succeed, or if you want to shape yourself, you need to, at least at a student level, you need to, of course, have the skills, and that's the learning outcomes. You also need to have what we call as the social emotional skills, the right attitude, and of course, the right environment, which is where serendipity probably comes in. So that was our hypothesis. And here we collected data from teachers, students, even parents. And the second study was something which, again, pan-India, 700 districts. Here there was this intervention group which was actually teaching values, values like being heroic, values like living in harmony, and what we call as Atma Shraddha, that is having faith in your own potential, things like that. So, and we had to measure these through assessments, where I'm not seeing the students spread across the country and so on, and we had to come up with some new methodologies and techniques and so on. But what did we find? We found that there were very, very clear markers, or what I call as habits of success. And the first habit, what I found was that if somebody believes in that what they are doing is important and is needed, the second thing is that you also have to believe that however many times you will fall, you will not stop till you find the solution. And the third was that you also pay diligence to what you are doing. And fourth ability was that you are able to delay your gratification as you are doing this. So these four habits of success, when we had to correlate all the data and figure it out, we found that people who had these types of beliefs and attitude were able to succeed. And therefore, I would say that you might have the skill. Skill is something learnable. Skill is needed, but if you don't have the attitude, even if you have the skill, you would not sort of succeed.
That's a very good point. Rabi, the questions to you in this case, because real estate is a very dynamic environment. You find people with different attitude altogether. They have done some research. When you go and sell to them, they are only buy either because of the reputation that the salesman or the seller is building or the builder is building. What are those non-negotiable that helps you protect your own name in this case? I mean, there could be possibilities where you may be talking to someone in Saudi Arabia versus in Dubai, and both of those personas are different.
Yeah, what we discussed in the first questions is a given, which is the being true and transparent with the client. But also you need to understand, especially in Saudi, for example, or this part of the world, to understand the culture of the people and the clients themselves, and who are your buyers, is to understand them. A second thing is that you always have to be professional in your offering, and be consistency in what you're telling to them. These are very important. So because without you will not be able to build any reputation, especially that if for me real estate is a passion, it's not a job. So this is what I do on a daily, day and night. And I read, I write about real estate, and I always communicate even with my team how they should, because every member of my team should be a star by himself or herself. They need to build their brand also to be able to reach these type of people. And it's a learning, it's a learning journey. It's not something that you just learn and stop and then you go practice. These kinds of events, networking events, are also essential part of building your name in the real estate industry. So these, I think, are the basics, non-negotiable terms when it comes to building your reputation.
I think that's a very good point that you mentioned. When you reach out to your own teams and you say you really need to be a star of your team or for the company, do you think that there's a unnecessary pressure that they are taking in a dynamic environment like real estate, that I need to be a star, I need to sell that, and then I have to prove myself, but the things are not happening at the same way? How do you have a kind of a contingency plan for them if they break out, or how do you ensure that they are stay on track?
Definitely, when we start, we have multiple channels. So the sales team is one of the channels. The brokers are the other. The brokers are another channels, or the outsiders that will work with us. But the change is essential in our life, and they need to work hard, and we train them to do so. And everyone makes mistake, and we are allowed to make mistake. So they need to learn on the job. Even when they communicate with the client, they have to be themselves, and it's something natural. Communication and sales is every communication that we do between each other. What we are selling to, what we are doing today is selling. So sales is natural and important with us. It's how you work on it and you develop it in each and every industry that we are in. And this is where I think when it comes to the team themselves, we train them to make the most out of their experiences.
Amar, if I would ask you the same question, considering that tech industry is also a very dynamic and a very hard to run industry where everybody is challenged to prove himself or herself, how do you see those non-negotiable items that they need to be? Because of course, within your team, you really wanted stars to come out.
In the tech industry, the first thing is the integrity. Whatever that you're doing, it's reliable, workable. You can work with this. It's not because that's always the challenge. The development teams are always not seeing what they hear from the customers. They have different mindsets, and so they need a translator in the middle, business people, to be understanding what are the exact requirements. Because what you're telling me as a developer, that's not what I'm not going to do. It needs somebody interpreting something in between. So the being true that I'm trying to solve, because you may make mistakes, and that's normal in the tech industry, that I may hear some requirements that may not be interpreted correctly in the beginning. You must have a good, reliable name. You must love doing your job, not to have the money out of it. You need to be having a vision of what you need to be the last to be having the meal. You need to be staying until everyone eats, then have just the remains. That's how you build up in tech. After having this 1, 2, and 3 times, at this point you are going to have a name. At this point you're having systems, you're having concepts that may differ from anyone else. This is a resellable solution where everyone has been fed already. Right now, these remains are going to create your empire. These remains, when they are collectively across years of sustaining this kind of model, is keeping the tech giants right now. Oracle starts with a database. SAP started with an HR system. They were all very small companies as big names. Microsoft started with an OS. Right now, every one of these companies are doing billions from the remains, started from the remains, and the legacy built up on this. So being true in delivering. That's the key aspect in tech. That's who continued in the tech industry and succeeded.
Okay, Nicola, I'll probably just ask you this question because you're sitting between real estate and IT right now, and you've actually worked with diverse humankind. Living a life and talking to them, and then building your own brand. What challenges did you face, and how did you overcome those? Because you've built your own legacy right now.
Yeah, so I'm hearing your question as the diversity in the human
Exactly.
condition or the human reality. Yeah, I like that. Well, I mean, I've definitely embraced the challenge of, as I say, my slogan is "Change the world, love wins." So that is my overriding personal life slogan, and humanity, one family. So I'm having to mentally and emotionally love the whole human family, and it's been an interesting journey because when I started. I felt that love. I mean, wherever. When I was younger, I didn't. I actually said, I love me and my goals. So I thought, well, maybe I have to love a little bit more than that. And it's a spiritual story. So quickly, I sort of was like linked to a scripture in the Bible, which was love your neighbor as you love yourself. And I'm an achiever. So I'm really good at loving me. I want to love my neighbor like I love myself. So, and I was having a conversation up there, and I had this image of a mountain, like a Mount Everest, and as if you want to love your neighbor, you have a very high mountain to climb. So I remember feeling like, okay, well, let's start. And so I'm really talking about an internal transformation journey where I opened first myself to love humanity, to love everyone, to love the human condition. And it does break down prejudices, and it does break down. You start to see as like, well, I like these kind of people. I don't like those kind of people so much. And you just see that is inside of you. It's because it is a spiritual maturing to expand your heart. And I must say at the moment, so I would say a big challenge is that we have natural prejudices, and we do tend to look for ourselves in other people. So if there's something in you that I can relate to, it's natural. Then I'm going to have an affinity for you, and other people I'm feeling like I don't have anything in common with you. So then you just kind of like, oh, I'm drawn to people, and I'm not drawn to other people. But when this love in you grows, which is where my work is it's about love. Then those things just start to disappear, and you start to be like, I see the beauty in everyone. I see the special in everyone. And to me, to deal with the diversity of the human condition, the answer is love. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Dwayne, you also, being a consultant, you're running your own firm, and you've been talking to a lot diverse people in your vicinity or within your group. What's your take on what just Nicole mentioned?
I think it's similarities rather than differences. When you come to the conclusion of there is one, there is no other, there is no separation. You are me, I am you. So the more we can delete the software, whether it's religion, culture, A, B, and C, and we are one, I will treat Paul the same as I will treat Peter. And it's Peter's me, Paul is me. And when we evolve consciously in this state, we're able to serve not just ourselves, but those around us, from communities, societies, through businesses, and the leaders of tomorrow. Because I believe there's one war going on, and that's between our two ears and the ego. And I believe we're going into a new age where there's leaders that are going to be operating from authenticity, from their true version of doing that inner work, that shadow work, to enable them to be a beacon of light for their firm or their society.
We got a couple of adjectives: or be authentic, be loved, be responsive, and then we have diverse real estate and tech, which is sitting and they have their own opinion. Vajanti, from the education standpoint, what's your take on the same concept?
Yeah. So this is, I mean, all of these are something that we end up measuring. Like I was saying that you were talking more about consciousness, universal consciousness versus individual consciousness, and whether they are the same. I think of it as bubbles in the air, and the minute the bubble bursts, the air and both are air inside and outside, that sort of a thing. But anyway, coming to therefore how what are the three things I think are important when you're talking of building a legacy or building a name? I think the first and foremost is the character, and we all spoke about integrity. So character is something that you say that this person is something who has integrity or trustworthy and so on, and that comes after you see repeated observable behavior, consistent behavior. And behavior is something which is a manifestation of the attitude you hold, you know and attitudes are driven by values and beliefs. So fundamentally, if you have to have character, you have to have the right value and the belief, and that's how it drives. The second thing I would say is competence. So you, just because you have character, you don't think that people are going to come to you. Definitely you're in the tech, and you have to have competence. And the third I would say is communication, because I've seen that when integrity, the way you build integrity is that when you go wrong, for example, all of us may go wrong in our companies, in our deliverables, and so on. You pick up the phone and talk to the client, even though you know there will be some negative consequences, and you put the things fairly on the table and say, hey, this is what has happened. This will be the implication, and this is what I can do about it. And the first time I had to do that, it was so difficult, but you won't believe that the client actually came back to me for many more projects. So communication. So internally as well as outside, whether it's the client or even internally, how we communicate transparently. So these are all parts of that character. So how you build the character, have the competence and the communication to sort of tie it all together. These three things are what I think basically defines you as a person.
That's really beautiful, because building a character starts with, in real estate, with a cold call. Finding the right customer for your project.
These were the old days. But I think that today there are many ways than cold calls. And for me, it starts with when you work on luxury and branded residences, you don't sell luxury, you offer it. So it really depends on what's your approach toward the client.
Nice. For our beautiful audience here, we would just wrap it up with a quick rapid fire questions. I would give you each, and you have to answer that in less than few seconds. So the first question, Vajanti, one leadership value you'll never compromise on.
Trustworthiness.
Dwayne. Mike.
Yeah, true.
Rabi.
Yeah, the same. If you can't do it, just say you cannot do it. You'll not lose.
Doctor.
Passion.
Nice.
Trustworthiness again.
Legacy in one word. Amar.
Your people.
Sorry?
Your people. How are you building your people? That's your legacy.
Doctor.
People, your team, your family, everyone that you are leading.
Beyond your lifetime.
Rabi.
It's a difficult question. I don't know.
Legacy in one word is a difficult question. That's also beautiful. Dwayne. Legacy in one word.
Passion.
Vajanti.
I think it's about how much you are able to change the world around you.
That's also nice. A habit that strengthened your personal brand, Dwayne. A habit that has strengthened your personal brand.
Self-love.
Nicola.
A habit that has strengthened my personal brand. I think being on social media.
That's what I was telling you, Vajanti. What's your take on this now?
I think, I don't know. So for me, I think social media does not convert into very, very meaningful relationships or business associations. But if you're not in social media, people think that you're not alive, you know. So it's become the necessary evil. I still hold on to my same take on it.
I'm with Nicola because, again, yes, you're not alive if you're not on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say, I think it's a well-known marketing phrase, but the best known beats the best.
Yes.
You can't
Ravi,
escape
you would
it.
probably compliment that phrase.
Yeah, for sure. I've been on social media. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and again, this happened because I always used to write about what's happening in Saudi till I Favicon sent me that I'm one of the top 10 urban writers in Saudi Arabia, and from there, my interest in social media increased. So definitely, if you have to be there, you have to tell people what you're doing, and it's self-satisfaction at the same time, which is important for you to keep going.
Amar.
The energy, I think that's the main drive.
Yeah, you can probably just go and subscribe to Ravi's channel because there's full of energy.
Okay. Sure.
One misconception, Amar, people have about reputation. Considering now we are on social media, what's your take?
Misconception
Yeah.
that we don't change, that everything is constant, that people feel that it's always constant, that you're not going to change, but if I leave you 1 year and come talk to you again, I'm going to find you changed. You are changed, but you don't feel it. People feel that nothing changed in a person. That's not true.
True. Ravi, in your case, what would be this?
I think if you rise, you can fall. So you have to pay attention and make sure that you keep on growing. This is very important. Education, self-education, self-development is essential key.
Nicola?
So a misconception about a reputation, I would say that it's an overnight success. You know, it's actually built over the long term.
That's true. Dwayne would answer that question easily because you've been building that on for a longer time.
Yeah, I think it's. Remind me the question again, sorry.
One misconception people have about reputation.
I think sometimes people are stuck within the past or someone's character, or just from their 5 senses of information that they take in, they can perceive and bring judgment upon something without looking and reading the whole book.
Beautiful. Vajanti?
I think when it comes to reputation, people think that you always have to be successful or seen as successful, the social media thing I'm saying. But in reality, it's about your reputation is not how many times you fall or fail. Your reputation is how many times you're able to get up, right? So, so therefore, it doesn't really matter whether you have to put your positive self-image in social media or not. It's about what you actually do and what value you create. That's what matters.
Well, looks like our telepathy is actually working right now because the next question was I was about to ask, what advice would you give to our audience, and you actually ended up with that.
Okay.
Nice, thank you.
Thank
Dwayne,
you.
one
Yeah.
advice, because everybody is now entering 2026, what legacy that they can build from their own name?
That you are the solution, you are the dream, it's within.
Ravi?
Yeah, I think that in today's world, again, the social media attention is 8 seconds today on over the platforms. So, but you have to be there, and you can create a name for yourself. You're not just a number. You are yourself.
Nicola?
So a bit of advice when it comes to name, and because we kind of said we were going to focus on personal names, although some of us have mostly focused on companies. And I think name and identity go really close together, and I don't feel we've paid enough attention to ourselves, quite frankly, talking about humanity, which I'm so passionate about. So build your own identity. It doesn't have to be a business. It doesn't have to be on social media. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Stand tall and be all the way the beautiful human being that you were created to be.
100%.
So the main advice is to embrace the change. That's don't let your ego makes you not change your mindset, because just hear more. You're going to embrace the change.
And that's, ladies and gentlemen, we end up with saying, embrace the change. Do you have any questions in the meantime? Yeah. All right. So there's no questions because we don't have time. Thank you again. We have the beautiful guests here. I just need a round of applause for what they've shared and what they've built upon.